Welcome back to the Goonerverse, everyone. Sorry I am late. Had technical issues, but we're back. We're ready to do player ratings after Arsenal destroyed Inter Milan. We did. We rotated. I think it was 7 changes from the last game, and I'd say it was 5 players that weren't regular starters for Arsenal in that 11. So you can go Mosquera, Lewis Skelly, Merino, Eze, and Jesus. So 5. There you go. The other positions are probably debated to some degree as well. And Arsenal made light work of it. Arsenal were the better team. Arsenal went to a European giant, and make no mistake about it, they might not be Real Madrid in terms of European pedigree, but they've got great European pedigree. And they're a side that, at the San Siro, are difficult to beat. Barcelona fell there last season. They got to the final. They're a side who beat us 1-0 a year ago. I thought we gave them quite a good game. They're very stubborn and stern. I know they're not the same team as they were under Inzaghi, but they've got Kivu now. They can play some good attacking football. They've got some decent players. They're top of Serie A, I believe. And I think they'd won 4 of their first 4 Champions League games. And I saw some ridiculous stat where this is true, that they hadn't conceded 2 goals in the first half of a game in the Champions League at the San Siro for 15 years, and Arsenal went and did that. So it just shows you how good we were on the day. Big thank you for joining us. If you're here for the live stream, if you are here live, or you're catching us later, big thanks. I want to know your player ratings in the comment section below. As always, you know how we do this. We look at this via a tier system, go from brilliant to very good to not great to poor. I'm going to say I don't think there are many players. Well, no one's getting in the poor category, and I'd be surprised if some players make the not great category. But we're going to do this all together. I want you all to forgive me quite early as well. I was live on TalkSport. Big thanks to TalkSport for having me. And it's one of those where there's multiple games on. You're talking about various things in the football landscape. So yes, I was obviously watching the game, kept an eye on it as much as I can, but I'm also doing it through the lens of, talking to colleagues and peers and discussing football more widely. So if I miss the odd thing, if there's anything that maybe you're surprised at when it comes to my ratings, that's absolutely fine. Just let me know in the comment section below what you disagree with, and I'll always happily change my thoughts, if you will massively disagree with me. Some people are calling me Tony Pulis, James Pulis, which is brilliant. Glad you're liking the outfit. I have to say that upload I did on Ethan Waneri was certainly very Tony Pulis. Very Tony Pulis. Okay, shall we go through the player rating? Should we go through all the players with the 11 and the bench? Sometimes I mix up the order, but I think we go in the order of the goalkeeper through to the striker. Loads of good performances to talk about. I'm really excited to go into it. So let's start right now. David Raya. What would you give David Raya? I'm going to say I thought he was good. I thought that was a good performance from David Raya. In the first half, he made a really good save with his left hand when they tried to fire it across goal. And then he made a second save as they tried to put it back across goal after that. Largely untroubled on set pieces, and I think they're quite a big team, Inter Milan, if I'm not mistaken. Certainly the centre-backs are. But yeah, I thought he just did well. His kicking and distribution didn't bother me like it had in previous games. So I wonder whether the instruction had changed or his decision making was better. I don't know. I have no idea what Iñaki Kanya, the goalkeeping coach, was telling him to do, or what Mikel Arteta needs from him for certain game states. So I'm happy to just say he was good. I thought he was good. I don't think he made any blinding saves. I think with the goal, if I have to be honest, the goal isn't really in the top corner. But I also think there's a lot of bodies in front, so Raya's going to react quite late, so no complaints from me there. Cool. A lot of you agreeing he was good. Brilliant. We can keep it moving. Jurriën Timber. We could fly through this one as well. I thought he was good too. I know technically he gets an assist for the goal. It's a scuffed shot, if we're being really honest. It was really interesting the role he had. Timber was asked to press onto DiMarco at times, the wing-back, and get really high up the pitch, with Saka pressing more centrally. I don't know how much that helped our pressing structure and our defensive, positioning. It felt like we were cut through a few times, especially down that left-hand side. It felt like they got through us once or twice, but I don't blame him. I think he was quite clearly asked to be quite aggressive in the press, but I don't think he did anything wrong on an individual level. I thought he was quite clean on the ball. I don't think he... I think he made... in that first half, that first 20 minutes, he did make some really good runs and did some really good stuff, but maybe there was just a lack of execution. So I'm happy to say good. Razel says not great for him. What else have we got? Not great for Felix. Timber, somewhere between good and not great. Max, good to see you, my guy. Everyone show some love for Max and the great production that he puts behind all this and the great work. Thank you, Max, and it's good to see you in the comments. Some of you agreeing good. But yeah, the robot says Timber, somewhere between good and not great. The assist was a complete miss hit. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to stick with good. I don't think he was not great. I think largely untroubled, kept things moving, and was an outlet combining nicely with Saka in that first half. So I'm going to say good. I can't say he got done on his side either, particularly. So yeah, happy to sit with that. Saliba. Ooh. Okay, I'll tell you what. You all give me your ratings for Saliba because I think I can be swayed on this. I saw Alex at the different knock rate him really highly in his 1 to 11, and I thought Saliba was, I thought I thought he played well, but I'm not sure I had him down quite as highly in terms of the rankings of the other players. So I'm going to fly in quickly with this one instead and just say that I had Mosquera as very good. Now, whether you thought Saliba was as good, I'm going to put him on the same rating, or maybe a touch below, fine. But I don't think Saliba was better than Mosquera, I will say that. I thought Mosquera was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, maybe that is slightly with the context and caveat of it being his first game, or first start for a while, and first game for a while, actually. And to do it at the San Siro in that kind of context. But I thought he was super aggressive. I thought he was really clean on the ball. I thought he did some really good one-man defending. There were times where they played through and it was him getting in front and making the block. It was him cleaning up the mess that was Arsenal's pretty messy press at times. It was him who was, I remember when they were 2-on-1, and his positioning basically meant that Inter had a much harder chance than it probably looked at first when they broke, with literally Mosquera the only one back because of his positioning, his ability to tidy up. I thought Mosquera did brilliantly, and I thought Arteta giving him this start was great because it allowed Gabriel to essentially be rested to a degree. Then Gabriel comes on and Mosquera's minutes are managed really nicely. So everything around Mosquera, from the minutes he played, the way he played, the substitution, I thought was perfect and masterful from Mikel Arteta. I thought he was very good. So what are you all gonna give? Okay, so this is interesting. We've got very good for Saliba, very good, very good. Saliba good, Mosquera brilliant. Brilliant, some are saying. Saliba very good, Mosquera brilliant. Brilliant, mate. Maybe that's just me. Mosquera brilliant, especially considering his first game back. Mosquera very good, 8 out of 10. Saliba good. Nah, Mosquera was brilliant. Mosquera got to go brilliant. Cool. I am convinced. My arm has been twisted. And you know what? I actually don't know why I didn't put him in brilliant in the first place. I actually agree with that. And we can move Saliba to very good. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. No complaints from me. I think it's absolutely fair to say that Mosquera was brilliant. Maybe I was a little bit blinded there by the idea of getting goals and assists or a clean sheet or something kind of really tangible data-wise. But I think that's fair. I'm happy to be twisted. Kukuri says that Saliba, brilliant in my honest opinion. Really brave on the ball, commanding at the back. Like I say, I saw him at right wing at one point. Yeah, I don't know what it was about Saliba, and this is where the whole, I was talking to others about football, keeping an eye on the Tottenham game, things like that, maybe come into play because obviously I'm on TalkSport, I'm on another platform where I'm expected to talk about other things beyond just the Arsenal game. Maybe I missed some of Saliba's kind of highlight moments, but you're right, there were some moments in possession where he just glided past players like they weren't there, and you're thinking, my word, this guy just makes the game look so easy. I felt Mosquera had more standout defensive moments, more I've just saved the team moments. So I'm going to go with Mosquera as brilliant and Saliba as very good, and I'm happy to stick with that. Lewis Skelly coming up, and some of you are coming in quite early. Safe says that Miles was good. Razzle says that Skelly was good. And just on Mosquera, David has said Mosquera really challenged their hold-up play. Yeah, I agree with that. So, Lewis Skelly, I'm caught between very good and good. But if I'm honest, I don't think I saw enough for very good. So I'm going to go with Lewis Skelly as good. I thought he had a good game. Now, if some of you disagree, let me know. I thought he had some very good moments. I thought it was a slightly shaky start. I definitely think he looks slower to engage. I have to be honest. He doesn't look like last season's Miles in terms of the way he really engages in his defending with players. It feels like he used to get out to them so much quicker in the same way Jurriën Timber does. And we were comparing the two of them, saying, they're quite similar in the way they do that role at times. But I think in fairness, he grew into it. He then looked tidier in possession. He then was cleaning up quite nicely, did some good defending at the back post at times, and I thought looked much more assured in himself. It's not an easy role to play when they've got a wing back, because there'll be confusion over whether he goes up to press them or he sits, and then when he is sort of tucking inside to deal with the overload from the extra midfielder, the striker coming across, there's then a wing back going over. It's a very difficult system not only to play against, but to prep for, because we never face a 3-5-2. That's a very Italian football system. We don't see that in the Premier League. And I thought Lewis Skelly, to be fair, adjusted well and had a good game. So I'm happy to say that he was good. Teasy says that he was much better in this game. Felix says between good and not great. Thank you very much, Kukuri, saying that me and Daluda Gooner were brilliant on TalkSport. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in. Lewis Skelly, good but a bit sloppy. Yeah, I can agree with that. Felix says he looked so slow to start sprinting. Don't remember him being as slow as this last year. Yeah, I know what you mean. Thought he was inverting better in the second half, says Jean. Yeah, okay, cool. So I think we're going to agree on good for Lewis Skelly. So, yeah, there we go, people. I just realised I've had the tactical pad the wrong way most of that time. But there we go. So that's what we've got at the moment. I'm happy with those. I think it's fair to say that Saliba and Mosquera are a cut above the other three. And I think it's fair to say that none of them were bad. Far from it. I think, we played a very high aggressive press. They were going to have to do quite a bit of one-on-one defending. And I think they did it quite well, to be fair. I'm happy with that. I'm comfortable with all those. Should we move into the midfield? Well, we'll answer this. Starbound asks, James, what's your take on Pep being beaten so comprehensively against Bodo Glimt? Yeah, I didn't really touch on this, did I, on my reaction last night? I think they did go strong, and it was a game that mattered for City, so you can't say it's not concerning. You can't say, they just didn't, put their foot on the gas and were a bit complacent, because this was a game that mattered. They had to respond after the derby, and I think Bodo Glimt were in the middle of pre-season or something, which was incredible. So I have to say, I think that's a really, really damaging defeat for City, but I think if they get one or two defenders back, they settle on their fullbacks. I don't think they'll sort of click, but I think they will just be a bit more consistent and a bit better. I think we still need to be wary, but I think while they're playing the sort of defensive partnerships they're playing, they're going to be exposed at the back, and I think you saw that. What's more concerning for them is how easy they'll run through midfield. So yeah, worrying times for City, and we hope it continues, obviously. Jay Dyer says, so rare I get to catch you live. Love the content. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so Zubimendi, already card 8's come in with Zubimendi, very good signing of the season for me. What are you all going to give Zubimendi? I thought he was also very good. I thought some of the nice work in possession, some of the defensive work too, some of the little passes here and there he did were just class, receiving off the back four and the goalkeeper. I thought Zubimendi quietly had a very, very good game. He didn't stand out like he did against Chelsea off the ball, I think because Inter ran through us quite a few times, and I don't think he stood out in terms of the on-the-ball stuff like against Villa, like against Chelsea with his goals. But I thought he quietly was very good and just kept things moving really, really nicely at the heart of the Arsenal midfield. He also had to play a slightly tweaked role because Eze was the left 8 and Merino was the right 8. Eze would go press, and it was actually a two-man central midfield press. So we went with Jesus and then Eze and Merino stepping up together with then the wingers. So Zubimendi was left on an island a little bit, but at times when Merino did drop back, he would then move to left of the central midfield pivot rather than the right where he would normally be because Rice was there. So it's just little things like that you just have to adjust to, and I thought he did really, really well. Jill's squad says he was just good. Not very good. Some of his passing was sloppy. Zubi good, slow start but grew into it. Zubi was very good. I really appreciate the guy. 7 out of 10, says Razel. Zubi was good, not very good because I think he could have challenged their goal a bit more. I think that was just, fell to the player. He took it quickly. I think I'm not too harsh on him about the goal. Okay, cool. I'm going to settle on that. I don't think anyone's really disagreeing with Zubimendi in the very good rating, so we'll roll with that. Become Merino. Somewhere between not great and good for me. But I'm going to say he was good. I thought there were some nice passes he played centrally. I thought he demanded the area in quite compact spaces. Worked hard off the ball. Got booked, but that was probably a bit of a silly swipe. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say on Merino. So unless any of you change my mind, I'm happy to just say he was good. Eze, I'm gonna have him down as good as well. Now, some people were critical online about Eze, so I think if I'm to guess, some would say he wasn't great. I disagree. I think he was good. I thought he did some nice stuff. He showed more purpose and drive in his passing and his kind of all-round number 10 play. I looked at Eze and thought, you see that first goal? When he gets the ball, his body and his vision is leaning left, so he could just move it on and keep it going. What I like is the personality he shows. He goes, no, let me just quickly cut on the right and pierce that ball forward. And I think it goes into Jesus, might be mistaken, but I love that from Eze. I think that's really good number 10 play. I think that's really good purposeful football. It results in us basically, picking the ball in and around the edge of the penalty area before Timber's scuffed shot goes to Jesus and we score. And yeah, did he give away the ball a few times? Was he a bit lackluster in possession once or twice? Yeah, he was. I don't think this is a perfect performance, far from it. I don't have him in the brilliant or very good category. But I thought he did some okay stuff. I thought he worked hard. I thought he looked quite neat in possession. He turned a few players, winning fouls, things like that. I think he tried to show some personality, but it's difficult away at the San Siro, I appreciate. But I was quite happy with what I saw from him. Some of you saying, not great. Man walks like he is. Okay, I'm not going to read that. Wow. Eze wasn't bad, but we are all waiting for more from him. I agree. Everyone who thinks Eze wasn't good doesn't know football, says Alexander. 4 out of 10. Good, but just barely personally. Well, if he's a 4, then he's near not great or poor. Too much slander on Eze. I agree. I thought Eze was pretty... don't know what you mean with that. Feel as though he was... being let off the hook compared to Gyökeres with Jesus and Havertz, but Gyökeres had to play, whereas Eze has been benched for not playing well. Eze was good. Of course, we know he could be much better. Never selling the Eze stocks, I agree. Few of you agreeing he was good. Eze was not great. Also not great, same as Merino. Stop pretending like you don't see we're a completely different team in a great way without Ødegaard, says Alexander. Okay, so it's dividing opinion, this one. I don't think Ødegaard plays that pass forward and through the lines the way Eze did. I think he does if he receives it, looks up and it's there, but Eze works that opportunity. Eze goes, no, I'm going to make that space and punch it forward. And I like that from Eze. Really good. I mean, not really good. It was a really good moment. He wasn't really good on the day. So I think he was just good. Kimuli, why was Eze good? I've just answered that for the last 5 minutes. So there you go. You're bang on, James. Eze was your classic risk and reward, says Mikey. I agree with that. I think the Eze and Jesus link up was so good, says Safe. Big thank you. Okay, cool. So that therefore includes our midfielders. With Zubimendi at very good, which I think is quite a generous one if I'm honest, but I did notice him a little bit more than I did Eze and Merino in terms of keeping things ticking, keeping things moving and running in that midfield. And yeah, Eze and Merino, I thought pretty standard with both of them playing some sort of part in the goal as well. Okay, we move to our forwards. This is interesting. I'll start with Trossard and say he was good, but I think that's being quite generous. I think he's probably near or not great, but I don't really think I can sort of have him worse than Merino and Eze. Am I missing anything with Trossard? He didn't really beat his fullback at any point. Didn't do anything particularly magical or inventive. I thought he just kind of kept things moving, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, am I feeling a bit generous with all these? I think I'm just sort of happy to stick with that. Trossard good, says Joseph. Not great. Lost the ball too many times. Maybe I'm being kind. Very good. Oh, Nalfa says he was very good. Okay. I'll get the super chat in quickly. Albo says, do you think Gyökeres would be better off the bench versus United? We'll touch on that in a little bit, but thank you so much for your super chat. Trossard, not great. Trossard, good overall, but not creative enough. Trossard, good. Trossard, just average, really. Cool, I'll stick with good. Saka. Ooh. I thought Saka was better than Trossard. This feels kind, though. I have to say this feels kind. I think Saka's the most in between good and very good of anyone on this list. I think Saka did some things. Some of the combinations, some of the running at goal. Decent shot that went wide. Probably could have struck a bit better. You can't really claim he got an assist because it bounced off the back of his heel. I mean, ultimately, the set piece was very, very good. And and Trossard, actually, Trossard's the one who heads it back across goal. Do you know what? I have to say, when you're 1-1 at the San Siro and you put out a cross like that, and Trossard's at the back post and nods it back towards goal, I feel like you deserve a little bit more credit. But I think the corner from Saka is more impressive than maybe necessarily the head back across goal from Trossard. This is tricky. What are you all giving Saka? Saka was very good. DeMarco couldn't handle him. That's true. He was getting clattered a few times. Was driving centrally and quite nicely. I feel like Saka's trying too much these days. Needs to pass the ball sooner. I think we're making too much of this. Saka doesn't pass and Saka's not looking for the forward. I think we're making too much of this, if I'm honest. Even with the one where people were saying he should have squared it to Gyökeres, for me, the defenders come across. When he's taking it with his right foot, the defenders come across. I don't think you can be too mad at Saka for that one. I don't think there's an obvious cutback. If anything, I think Rice should punch it forward into Gyökeres himself. Trossard, not great. Some are saying Saka was good, not great. Nothing much to remember from him in 90 minutes. You could say he got an assist, but let's be honest, he actually fumbled it. Yeah, but I'm giving him more credit for the set piece. I think that is like the assist as opposed to maybe the Trossard header. Saka has beaten his fullback so many times. Okay. Saka very good. Scared their defensive line every time got the ball. Great corner. I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with Saka being very good. Okay. Jesus. I think this is an easy one. I thought Jesus was brilliant, people. I thought Jesus was brilliant. It's not just because he scored 2 goals. I mean, it's a really good poacher's finish for the first. Second one, right place, right time. I think what was really good about Gabby Jesus was his hold-up play, his link-up. He was so tidy on the ball. He does this thing where he receives the ball, and I'm thinking, I don't know how, he's got his back to goal. He's running towards the corner flag. I don't know how he's going to keep the ball here because the defender's right on him. But his touch is really cushioned and it takes it in his stride. All he has to do is just maintain his balance, hold off the defender, which he does brilliantly, and he carries the ball back into a position where he can then just lay it off and keep it moving. Jesus played really, really well. That's really encouraging. And to answer the super chat that came in, does Gyökeres come off the bench for Jesus to start this game? I have to say, I think when you've scored 2 goals at the San Siro, you've played that well. I think Gabby Jesus has to start against Man United. I really do. I don't think you can play that well and us just discard it as it was kind of quite nice in a Champions League game that didn't matter too much and, we'll see you on the bench next game. I think he played so well, but the question is, do Man United play on the front foot and take the game to us, in which case Gyökeres is more suited, and you saw what Gyökeres can do in a game in which we do a bit of defending. We need to go from one end of the pitch to the other quite quickly. So yeah, I think Jesus should start on the weekend. I thought he was brilliant, and a lot of you are agreeing with me, which is great. Okay, the subs. We'll go quite quickly with this. Ben White looks just a standard good. I think he came in and kept things moving. Tried to play 1 or 2 lovely balls over the top to Saka that if he stayed on side would have been vintage Ben White. Declan Rice came in and sort of just kept things moving, added some steel and tidied things up when we needed him. Gabriel, can't say I really noticed him, so I'm going to go with good for him. At that point, Arsenal were in a good shape in seeing it out. Martinelli, you might think I'm crazy. I'm going to give him very good for that pass alone. I thought that pass from Martinelli was absolutely sensational. Absolutely sensational. So typical that only a few days after I say on the Loose Cannons podcast that him, Madueke, and Gyökeres are probably the three least technical players of the players we've got available could play in that position, and I stand by that. He goes and pulls out a wonder pass, and Gyökeres goes and pulls out a brilliant finish in the top corner. But I thought that pass from Martinelli was sensational, and he gets put in brilliant for that alone, because he comes on to try essentially see out the game for us. He comes on to add some pace on the counter, stretch the game, work hard, and just, give us some extra legs. But he wasn't brought in to pick out one of the passes of the season that I've seen this season from an Arsenal player. It was absolutely sensational to not only see Gyökeres make that run, but then execute it with his right foot was just outside of his right foot was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. A lot of you saying not brilliant. Well, Zacco saying not brilliant, very good though. Most of you have Martinelli in the very good category. Martinelli's pass was insane. Martinelli is a moments man, says Mikey. Martinelli, very good. Some people asking, by the way, when's the Loose Cannons out? It's out. We're recording tonight, so it's out tomorrow. We want to let the Champions League fixtures end. Okay, I'll tell you what. Because ultimately he wasn't what Jesus and Mosquera were for the whole game, I'm going to put Martinelli there. I'm going to put Gyökeres in very good. But I feel like I need to drop Saka and Zubimendi down, This is so hard. This is so difficult. Oh, forget it. I'm feeling generous. I don't care. I'm feeling generous. I don't care. Martinelli and Gyökeres, for the time they were given on the pitch, were brilliant. Gyökeres running the channels, looking after the ball well, winning fouls, using his physicality brilliantly, and then a brilliant finish as well. I thought Gyökeres did well. He made way for a shot that went over the bar, but I thought he had a really good game off the bench. Yeah, maybe this is all a little bit kind, people. I think if I'm probably being harsher, one or two players drop down to not great. One or two players, maybe Saka and Zubimendi, would be more near a good, over very good, but I thought they were better than others for sure. And Martinelli and Gyökeres aren't being given the brilliant tag, where Mosquera and Jesus had to play much more minutes and have a bigger impact over a wider time. But I do think, to be fair, from the moment from Martinelli, the moment from Gyökeres, I think you'll give them great credit for what they did coming off the bench at the time they had. I thought they were brilliant. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Away at the San Siro, I don't think I want to put anyone in the not great category. It doesn't feel fair. So I'm happy to just sort of talk about the players that stood out on another level and leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, people. Let me know what you agree with or don't agree with. A big thanks to the 600 of you who are watching this live. Super thank you for joining us. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet and you want to be kept up to date with everything we're doing here on the Goonerverse. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this stream as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, in the live streams. Join us. We're doing this after every game. We didn't after the Forest game purely because I had a birthday and then plans on the Sunday morning after, so I just didn't have the turnaround time. Apologies, but we are back after a good win to do the player ratings, and I think it was a good one to do it, wasn't it? Big thanks again. Really appreciate it. Go check out my match reaction if you missed it on Goonerverse News as well, by the way. That is out, and I obviously talked about the game in more detail. And yeah, I've enjoyed this. Hope you have too. Catch you very soon.